Hey, Pete Scott here, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing a day in the life of a business consultant. This is the Dubai version. If you're going to be a business consultant traveling all over the world, helping companies to increase revenues, market their business better, or whatever it is that you specialize in, then you must have discipline over desire. The only way I've been able to do this ongoing for the last 6 or 7 years is to set up my day when I'm abroad and literally follow that process day in and day out. I have a number of non-negotiables which I'm going to share with you, starting with my morning routine. So I wake up at 6 and I immediately take the bottle of water that's been at the side of my bed and have a whole bottle of water. And the reason for that is because I know waking up in the morning, my body will need hydration. I used to do the whole 5 a.m. thing, but it's just too much. I like my sleep, and sleep is the most important thing. Then I step out of bed and I set up the chair to face the window. Usually I like to meditate looking across at nature, but here in Dubai I'm looking at a building site, but it's actually been really different because it's given me a great metaphor for my meditation, which is that we're always building. So during my meditation I've seen the guys who seem to work 24/7 here in Dubai. They're out there, the construction workers, and the metaphor is that as they're building, I'm building my life, I'm building my business. That 30 minutes meditation is one of my non-negotiables, and by getting my mind right, everything else seems to go better throughout the day. People say that they don't have time to meditate. I say you haven't got time and not to meditate. From there I go straight to the gym because it is a mind-body connection and the both are one system. There's no point doing one without the other. So I go in the gym, and even if I just do 15-minute HIIT session, but generally I like to do around about 30 to 45 minutes in the gym. There's no right or wrong. You could do yoga one day, do weights, whatever. But for me, it's about getting my body moving so I feel great for the day. Now, from that point, I then go for breakfast, and that's where I start to really think about my day ahead. I want to state this, my first hour and a half where I meditate and where I go to the gym, I'm not actually thinking about my day ahead. I'm just being present. I'm getting in this moment and making sure I'm in my body, I'm in the right mentality for the day ahead. Over breakfast is where I start to plan, and I might take my notepad with me, and at that stage I'm getting ready for the day. Once I do that, I get back to the room. If I haven't ironed my shirt the night before, then I make sure that I'm all prepped for the day, shower, get ready for work, and then I'm going to share with you what happens next. Ready to leave the room to go and consult for the day. Today is a training session, but I also wanted to just go through a bit of a hack for when you are traveling a lot to make yourself feel grounded, because one of the dangers when you constantly traveling, I spend about 80% of the year out of the UK. I mean, it's just completely nuts. Today is actually my last day in Dubai, so I'm heading back to London this evening, so I'm looking forward to getting home. But what I've always done, and I probably learned this many years ago when I first was traveling a lot, is I made sure that as soon as I arrive at any destination, no matter how jet lagged I am, that I make the room my own. So how I do this is I immediately unpack everything, so I'm super organized and good to go. If anything needs ironing, whatever, I try and get that done as well, although this trip's been a bit manic, not always have the chance. Psychologically, one of the things I will do is I will completely empty my suitcase, and then I'll put my suitcase where I'm not going to see it every single day, because I don't want my mentality to be that, oh, I'm traveling again. And if I make the room my home, I feel so much more grounded and I have such better habits while I'm here. So I utilize everything that there is on these trips. So there's my quick travel tip. Make the room your own, even if you're staying for a couple of days, because it will make you feel so much more, like I say, centered and ready to go and do a great job. That'll do, it's gonna work. All right, one of the things I love about consulting here is that the meeting room is in my hotel. All I need to do is walk across here into where my managers are at. Let's do this. So before I get started each day, and before my group get here actually, I like to spend like an hour in the room, so I make the room my own. So top tip for anyone who's training as a part of consulting, you need to get there early, and that also gives me the chance to get any proposals or admin done. Once that's out the way, I can fully focus and be present with my group. So this is what I'm up to right now. I live in notes. So at the moment I'm just running up a proposal here that's good to go later on today, and that's for a company in London. I'll be consulting for all of next year.
7 hours later.
Okay, thank you very much everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Safe trip home, and see you soon. See you later. Bye. So now done for the day. Well, I'm done with my client. So now I'm gonna do the most important thing of all, which is get some me time. So believe it or not, one of my other non-negotiables is when I get done with my client is to have an hour by the pool right here. Because anybody who just works all the time, and if you can't step back and recharge, then what is the point of it all? So I've been that person, I've worked far too hard and not taking time out, and just having an hour to get back to do some work in the afternoon. So take time out for you as well, you're important. All right, hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah, really good. Literally just got off call then. Good start. We've done 15 calls so far.
Amazing.
We're basically calling, our community. We're looking really to see what their goals are for 2019, seeing where we can help, and informing them about some of the things we've got planned for January and March.
How's it going for Jan? All right, I've got a few minutes before I head over to the airport for my night flight. I thought what I'd do is answer a few of the specific questions that I get about consulting. Question number one is, Pete, what is consulting? And this is a great question because a lot of people here, well, I would like to be a consultant, but they don't really understand what it is. Consulting is, in a nutshell, solving problems, and specifically solving problems within a company. And the more exact of a problem or narrow of a problem that you can solve, the more than it can pay you. The biggest mistake that I see with entrepreneurs and especially new business owners going out there trying to offer service or a product is they go in trying to just prescribe and say, hey, I've got this great new product or this incredible new service. That doesn't really mean a lot when you're working with a big company or even an SME, so small medium enterprise. You really get paid for understanding the exact problem that a company is having. And a lot of the time when I go into businesses, I would say most of the time, the problem they think they have is not actually the problem that they really have. So what I do in the initial meetings is I establish and explain the exact problem that they are having. Now, by understanding the problem at a very deep level, it allows me to then prescribe the exact solution that that company needs. So what specific problem do you solve and how can you help companies? Because if you've got something that is specific, wow, that can be incredibly profitable. Question number two that I get most commonly is, Pete, how do I even get started? Well, there is no proven formula here or step-by-step guide. In essence, you just need to get started. A couple of tips for you though is number one, again, the more narrow you can be, the more niche in what you're doing, the more likely you are to find your audience. Number two though is growing where you've been planted. So if there's already an industry that you've worked with for many years, maybe you've been employed in an industry, start there. Start where you understand the problems in depth. Start where you already have contacts. I started by working with the spa, beauty and fitness industry because that's what I managed right throughout my 20s. I understood the industry, I understood the problems, I'd solved the problems, I'd proved to myself that I could do it. So therefore I started with that industry and only later did I diversify into multiple industries. Number three, the last question that I get most commonly is, Pete, why isn't it more people don't get into consulting if it's so rewarding? Well, I don't really have the answer for that. All I can put it down to is lack of the correct information. There's plenty of information out there on consulting, but the right information isn't really available. So people don't even know where to begin. And when you don't know where to begin, you tend to go around in circles and don't get anywhere. But I'm gonna go back to what I said earlier, which is sometimes you've just gotta get started and take these tips I've shared with you now and implement them into your business. If you don't have a business, then put it into the vision of your business and take it from there. So there's my Q&A on consulting. There's a day in the life of a consultant. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. My bags are packed. I'm ready to fly back to London. So I'll see you in the next video.